Okay, good morning. I'm going to redo this microphone. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to try to make a little trip down South Padre, and I got this little camera clipped to my visor right now. So, we'll see how it works, and I'm just going to go for a little drive, try to show you all around, and I'll talk a little bit at the same time. Now, South Padre Island, not to be confused with Padre Island National Seashore or North Padre Island or just Padre Island in particular. South Padre Island is, well, it's the southernmost tip of Texas. We're very close to where the Rio Grande River runs into the Gulf of Mexico. That's the river that forms the border between Texas and Mexico. SpaceX, their Bolsa Chica facility, is very close. The other day, a couple of days ago, they had a rocket launch, the test number 11, and we were able to just go stand on the beach and watch the rocket launch. It was pretty interesting. That's the third one we've seen, and we've never really come down here for a rocket launch. It just so happens that, they're doing it while we're here. So, anyways, we were here for the rocket launch. So, the island is maybe 3/4 of a mile wide or so, right where I'm at. Maybe a mile. It's maybe 15, 20 miles long. I'm just guessing. I could look it up, I guess. So, it's not a very big island, but it is quite populated. There's about 2,000 full-time residents here on South Padre, from what I understand. But during the busy tourist seasons, you can have 20, 30,000 people down here probably at a time, just enjoying the beach, enjoying the bay. There's great fishing in the Gulf. There's all kinds of places to stay, anything from luxury hotels to budget hotels to Airbnbs of all shapes and sizes and prices and everything in between. So there's just a lot to see and a lot to do here. So that being said, if you're a beach type person and you like the sun and you like the water, this is a great place to come for a little vacation. I like it down here in October. My wife likes it down here in October, mainly because the summer tourist season is over. The winter tourist season hasn't begun yet. You got a lot of winter Texans that come down from the north and spend the winter down here on South Padre Island. They make deals with some of the local owners and stuff to get rates. Sometimes they give them special rates because they rent for 3-4 months at a time. So October is just sort of, if you're retired like I am and like my wife is, it's a nice time to come down here. You can get good deals on rooms. It's not very crowded, and and the weather's gorgeous. Lately, we've had highs in the low to mid 80s during the day, and then at night it might get down to 77, 78. That Gulf of Mexico and on one side and the Laguna Madre on the other side just keep the temperature nice and steady. So, a little more about South Padre Island. It's a barrier island. So this is, when there's a big storm or a hurricane that happens to hit this island, the island sort of takes the brunt of it. The last good-sized one to hit South Padre, I believe, was Dolly. And we were here just after Dolly hit. And that was 2008 maybe, and Dolly did quite a bit of damage down here. It was a category 2, and they say it weakened actually to a category 1 just before landfall. So, but it still had strong winds and a pretty good storm surge, and so it did a little bit of damage down here, and well, more than a little bit. And then now we're headed towards the Gulf. The Gulf of Mexico is just on the other side of these buildings. This is called Gulf Boulevard or Gulf Drive or something like that. The road in the middle of the island, there's 3 main lanes that all go basically north and south. The one in the middle is called Park Road 100. Then you got Gulf Boulevard here. Then you got Laguna Boulevard or Lagoon Boulevard on the other side, close to the Laguna Madre. So 3 main roads, and then you've got all these little roads in between. A lot of them have the name of fish or something like that, you know, or other islands. So got to be careful driving down this road. There's lots of bicyclists. There's lots of people walking their dogs. And so it's just, you know, it's not a good place to come drag racing like some people try to do. The other day we were coming over the bridge, and I guess there was a couple of guys drag racing, and I was doing about 60. The speed limit's 55, and this one guy just squeezed right in front of me between 2 other cars and cut me off. And then a guy came up behind me honking his horn and flashing his lights and blah blah blah, and there was no place for me to go. It's just, and then we got over the bridge and there's a red light, and so as soon as we got over the bridge, everybody stopped at the red light. All that driving like an idiot and flipping people off and honking your horn and flashing your lights saved you exactly 0 time, if that's what your, you know, thing was. But I think maybe they thought they were playing a video game or something, and people get killed. We have bad roads in Texas. The speed limit's too high. People drive crazy a lot of the times, and I think we have, when there is an accident, it's usually a horrible one. You got to be really careful. Anyway, getting back to South Padre, you've got a pretty temperate climate here. It rarely freezes. Every once in a while a cold front gets down this far and brings a little cold weather, but for the most part it stays fairly warm year-round. It's a very popular place for spring break for the college students. They have big parties right on the beach, all up and down the island. The bars, there's some big bars, and they throw parties and for the college kids, and so that's a very popular thing to do down here. Is, you know, come down for a spring break. There's a lot of restaurants. There's just about any kind of food. There's an Italian place that's down on the south end of the island towards that way, called Gabriella's, that I really like. It's really good. If you come to South Padre, try it out. The prices are real reasonable, the service is great, and the food's really good. And let me see, for the most part when we come down here, we try to get something with a kitchen in it, or we bring our travel trailer. This year the park's closed, so they say they're redoing the utilities in the park, but I heard the other day there's a church down there. They tried to cancel their lease, and the church, I guess, answered them back and said, you know, we're not going anywhere. We got a lease till 2075 or something like that. And so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Isla Blanca Park right now. I hope they're just redoing the utilities and they're going to open it back up, because there's a lot of people that come in winter down there that bring their travel trailers, you know, that don't have enough money, that don't have $3-4 grand a month to plop down on a Airbnb. So they're trying to go down there, and it used to be for $600 or $700 a month you could rent a space down there, and they'd come down there and spend the winter, these retired people from up north, and it's like a little community down there. And I hope they don't break it up, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So we're almost to the end of Gulf Boulevard here. I hung this little camera I got on my visor, so if you're catching a little bit of the inside of the truck, well, that's the best I can do. So now this is Park Road 100 in front of us, and Park Road 100 runs the length of the island. It goes all the way down to Isla Blanca, and it goes all the way up towards the north end of the island. In fact, it ends way down there. I'm going to drive down there one of these days before I go home and make a video about going down there. And then there's some places down there too where you can shoot across these beach accesses and actually drive on the beach. And we're going to do that before we leave as well. And I'll make some little video of that. So there's lots of stuff that we can do down here. Thing is, I just get caught up in all this stuff and just setting time aside to go shoot videos for my little YouTube channel. Sometimes it gets pushed to the side. It's not really it's not anything I do for money or have a tight schedule on. When I feel like making a video, I make it. Hey, and I think I got 85 people subscribed to my channel. Right on. Thank you. That's pretty cool. I've never been one about promoting it very much or anything like that. It just, like I said, it's just for fun anyway. But the fact that there's 85 people out there who find it interesting enough to press that little button, that's really cool. Thank you very much. And I'm going to try to cut over here to the bay side, next to this Stay Groovy hippie building. Stay groovy, baby, it says on the side of there. Now they got a little amusement park type thing here. There's some go-karts and a few little rides and this thing where they can spring you up in the air or something like that. I don't know. And then there's a place where you can go parasailing. You can for $100 they'll pull you out there on a big parachute. There's Coconut Jack's little bayside bar. The bayside tends to be where a lot of the locals hang out, but there's a lot of nice little things over here on the bayside. Here's a few more little bars on the left, and then right up here there's a place where they have sometimes they have food trucks and whatnot, and Jim's Pier is right up here. And then you get into a residential area up here where there's just a lot of houses and condos and things like that. These tend to run a little bit cheaper on the bayside than they do, although there are some of the biggest houses on the island are over here on the bayside. So that's not always the case, but in general, like, look at 1,000 square foot condo on the bayside or 1,000 square foot condo on the Gulf side, and the bayside saves you a little bit of money. Of course, there's all the streets in between, and those run about the same as the bayside probably. Anywhere on the island, the beach is a short walk. Even if you live on the bayside or if you rent a place on the bayside, the beach it's literally maybe a 10-minute walk to get to the beach. So it's really, the whole island is sort of, just that way. It's really easy to get to the beach. And anyways, it's people love it. It's a really, really special spot for me. My wife and I found this. We came down here about 20 years ago, I guess, for the first time, and we just fell in love with the place, and we've come back probably averaging once or twice a year ever since. But lately we stick to October. We come down in October and try to stay for the whole month, and then that's about it. We did come in the spring a couple of times, but we like October on the island. It's really great time and highly suggested. If you can pull it off, if you can come to South Padre in October, that's a wonderful time to be down here. And we're back here on Park Road 100, driving back towards the condo we rented. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big blimp-looking thing up in the sky. There's a Coast Guard station, and that is some sort of surveillance equipment. They can like monitor even, the borders of the boats out in the ocean and who's coming and who's going and all that. And I don't know too much about it. I got a friend from the Army who was in Signal, and he knows about those things more than I do. So anyways, that's about it, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.